Okay, so this is supposed to be a simple Fusion 360 tutorial. So first thing usually you want to do is, well, mainly you want to use sketches and then you'd use extrudes. Um, and you can, what you see up here at the top bar, you adjust that. So when you click this menu, you can go down here and when you can say pin or not pin. So I usually pin all of my favorites just for reference. That's where that all is. Now to start out, I'm going to start by grabbing an image. Let's go to demo. Let's grab this image. I'm going to pick which X, Y, where I want to set that. I'm going to hit OK over here. Now, the next thing you want to do, this is the image that I scanned on a old inkjet printer scan plate with a ruler beside it. So now over here, we're going to go to Canvas. We're going to right click, calibrate, and then we zoom in with the mouse wheel. And I'm going to, well, actually, first you could click over here and make it straight. So I'm looking straight down. This is a measuring tool. I'm going to go to 100 millimeters, which is, and then I'm going to 1, 0. I'm going to hit enter. Now, that is life-sized. So now, this is a timeline down here. Everything you do is on that, and if you change something, you can edit like past effects and stuff. Very useful. So now we're going to build a sketch, and I'm going to build it on the same plane or same platform as that. I'm going to rotate this again so I can see it. Now, what I'm going to do here is mainly I use this one here and this one over here. So now I'm just going to trace this out. Actually, that's all curves. So let's switch over to a curve. Just a little bit of a curve there. Now, this is actually a bit of a divot over here. Now, for circles, you have several options. Oh, there we go. So these are just based on where you're measuring from. So my favorite is this one, where you can just pick any side anywhere and you go like this. Actually, I shouldn't say it's my favorite. In this case, this is the one I would use. If I want to do something else and I wanted a specific size, you go like this. Let's say 5.2 or 3. Okay. Enter. Now, you can use this measure tool and you can click on something and it'll give you all the information. You can also, yeah. I'm going to right click on it and you can get sketch dimensions and you can put them here and then I can edit this and I can say, actually I want this to be 5. And I just made it larger. But that's getting more advanced. The main thing is you can draw your sketch using these tools here. If you want, you can do everything using just this. I'm clicking and dragging to get around. Okay, click and drag a little bit, gets a bit of a round, but lots of times I'll just do this actually. And then I'll come back after with this. Throw a bit of a bevel in this one. There we go. Now, another very useful tool, use a lot of. Actually, first, this is the scissor tool. You can remove things you're not using. Another very useful tool, back to that, yeah, is this, which if you click on it, you can just make it a little bigger or smaller. Now here, I'm just going to go like that. And then this here is an extend tool. So you can just extend that Let's, actually, sorry, I don't actually have a real plan on what I'm doing here, but let's just do that. Get rid of this. Now, the next thing, we're done. Now we're back in the main body of the item. Here is our platform. Here is our sketch. We can hide that. Now, this is very important. You want the extrude tool. So we're going to click this. Now, I didn't add another image of the other angle. So here we're just going to, now here we can pick if we want to just go one direction, but here I want it synchronized because I want it centered. So we're just going to grab that and we're going to say about that big. Okay, now we have a body, and so we can work on that or not. But now this knife needs sides, so I'm going to do that again. Going to click on this, but I want the middle to be hollow, so I'm going to use an offset. So you use this offset over here. I'm going to offset that. Now what I actually typically do is I will just grab this quick and I'll move it up. Okay, 4. 4 is my offset. So I'm going to then punch a 4 in here. And then I'm going to go, let's say, back minus 1.5. Oh, wait. 1.5. There we go. Now we'll do that again. But this time we're going to go minus 4, and then this number will be plus 1.5. And now, of course, we have, I'm going to hide my pattern because we don't need that anymore. I'm going to hide my sketch for now because we don't need that anymore. Here's a rough handle. Now, you'll want to use this nice chamfer tool. You can either click in the middle, but I don't use this very much, the clicking in the middle part, because it usually doesn't work. But the main thing you do is just click now each edge. And we just throw a little bit of an angle on that, make it look all nice. And there we go. One thing I forgot to mention is if we go back here and we edit this, when you're dealing with this, if you don't want it to attach to the main body, you can change from join to cut, which would try and subtract it from the item. You can intersect, you can make it a new body so that if I hit OK, now we have that side is separate. But in this case, we didn't actually want to do that. So I'm going to do join. And that is done. Now, another thing to note is whatever surface, if you're going to be 3D printing this, whatever surface you have as the bottom surface, you usually, let's say I'm going to be laying it flat like this. Well, one, you have support problems there, but you usually want to throw one of these on there around the edges to compensate for elephant's foot. So you just want it to be a little narrower or whatever, especially if it's a tolerance part. If you just throw a little bit of an angle on it, it's kind of nice, well, both aesthetically and then if they have too much bed squish, you have just a little bit of gap there to work with to build up before it'll mess up the tolerances of whatever it is you're doing. Now, another quick example. This is working off of an image. This specific image was scanned on an inkjet printer, but you can also, if you'd rather, you can import mesh. Okay, let's import a pawn here. Sure, let's say that's a great spot for a pawn. Now, you can't actually interact with this. Like, you can't cut and work on it. I have another video on how to make it so you can work with it. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to create a plane. Now, this surface is I just clicked that one and it happens to be flush here with the bottom of this. That's perfect. So now um, let's just quickly sketch this out. Here's another example of I don't know what size of circle I'm dealing with, so I'm going to use one of these. There. Now I'm going to let's say go like that. I'm going to say like that. Now, the basic tools we've been using is just these simple ones here, but and this here, and of course your move and stretch. Now, with move, it's actually very important. Well, the first place you click is going to be where you move from. So I'm going to click there to get in the center. But if I click there and then I move, that's the point I would be rotating from or whatever. But okay, let's say we've clicked this. The only way to get a duplicate of, well, you can, if we hit create copy, then we can move it. But right now it has constraints, which are these little things here that you got to go in and delete. And those are what are locking it to its position in the world. So there's videos on how to get rid of those. But you just go around and you look for those. And then once you found them, you can grab this. And yeah, now it'll move because we found them. But that wasn't the thing I was trying to get to is rotate. Very convenient. Let's click the very center here. And now let's click. Oh no, we did that backwards. First we're going to grab center. So I want these two here to be what I'm rotating. And I'm going to grab my center point, which is this one right here. Now, we've picked 4. We can pick however many we want. This is very convenient. Okay. Now, there we go. And so that's the base. You can see I did chamfer it everywhere. But now, we don't need that one. I want to have this up and slightly rotated. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to save this and then let's say sketch 2. That's fine. Where am I saving it yet? Okay, save. Now what I'm going to do, this is a more advanced trick. I'm going to click on that and then I'm going to pick a plane. Well, normally you pick which one of these you want, but right now I already have that one selected. So I'm going to move that up. You can kind of see very thin there. I'm going to move it, put it right about there. Now that is a square. So what I'm going to do is, it's right there. So that's the one that's up higher. You just need to find it. Now I'm going to go Insert, XDF, which is what we had saved the other one as. I'm going to pick this higher one that we just created. Now I'm going to go Select from Computer. We're going to find this Sketch 2 that we just created. And now it's right there. Okay. Now, I'm going to go in here, Edit. Now I want my very center. Let's hide this object for now. Okay, let's cancel. I'm going to hide the object, so I'm not affecting those. Now I'm going to click the center point, and then I'm going to click and grab my everything. Now I'm actually going to unhide this so I can see where it is. And now I'm going to rotate. There. Now I'm going to hide that again. So now theoretically, I should be able to use another advanced feature, which is loft. I use a lot of loft. And so if you're using loft, we select the bottom that we have, and then you make sure that's all selected as one item. You might have to shift whatever. Actually, I want to add these circles here. There. And now that's all one here. So now we're going to go to the top